Bye bye bye. With a new season of Queendom comes a new season of performances to review. Personally, I don't usually pay attention to either Queendom or Kingdom, as I find the standard format of the previous seasons to be kind of boring. But this season of Queendom seems to be structured more like a traditional produced style survival competition. I'm not going to rank the performances this time since they were already ranked by votes. Instead, I'll just go over each one, review, and on some speculate on what I think Mnet plans to do with their stories throughout the season. This will be a longer video than I usually put out, so let's get started. The first performance we saw was from Dohwa, or she used to go by Chanmi. She was an AOA. I feel like this wardrobe failure in her performance was the main reason for the votes she got. It was an easy thing for the other girls to blame their downvotes on, and it felt very, very produced. I think Dohwa will probably have a little favoring in the edit for the misfortune aspect, and production will really favor her having a comeback story or like growing from the experience or learning. If it was purposeful on her part, she's pretty smart. If it was planted, well, they have to make good TV. The next performance was from Jooe from Weekly. She dances well and she's pretty. I could not decipher if she had any live singing ability whatsoever. I think all of her downvotes were given from that perspective. She's young though. She just graduated high school. I think she's super cute, and I think that visual appeal is probably going to get her fairly far in any online voting, but I just want to see more from her. The next contestant we saw perform was Jiwoo from S. She's really young. Like, really, really young. And she did well, but I don't think looking tough was the move for showing herself to the other girls, especially since they're mostly older girls. I think that hiding under her hat a little bit from nerves probably didn't help her. I think if she leaned into more cutesy concepts or ones that gave more room for error, she would really succeed. But she's been an idol for 70 days, as they kept emphasizing. I don't know why S girls are included in Queendom Puzzle. I think the girls are here to raise their group's profile overall. Jiwon from Cherry Bullet was next. She literally gave me goosebumps. Everyone knows Cherry Bullet is criminally underrated, and I would not be surprised if her and Bora hard sweep the show. Her vocals and stage presence really shine, especially when she's not contending with other members that can also belt their heads off. I think Bora is going to be my favorite in Cherry Bullet, but she's a bias wrecker. I think this is just another chance for her to shine individually. The next performer was Soeun from Rocket Punch. I think doing Taemin is next to insanity, but the girl's only complaints seem to be that she was too high-pitched. The song is pretty high-pitched. Taemin is pretty high-pitched in the original. I think that was a little crazy. I'd like to see some of the girls who were complaining try and hit those notes and do the choreography. I thought her performance was really underrated, and I think she'll rise to the top. The next performer was Nana. It was pretty good. I think trying to tackle this song is probably the best bet out of all Taemin's songs. The remix Dance Break wasn't my favorite, nor when she stopped singing entirely. I don't think it was leagues better than Seoyeon's performance. I think I would have preferred it if she just executed the original choreography really well, but I can see that the other girls really liked it. Chaeyeon performed next. She already left the show, and I don't think she needed to be in this show, and I think it was pretty evident from her performance and her time on the show that she probably knew that. I think even her management company knew she didn't need to be there and let her leave. When I saw her tutting, I was just like, oh, she's just showing off. Her attitude was very much, I do not want to be here. I would rather be anywhere else right now. And that very much slayed for me. I kind of wish she had stayed, but for all parties, it's probably best that she did not. Next up, I was happy to see Faye, a Thai idol. I was really happy to see the kind of treatment that Mnet was giving her. She seemed like a really strong vocalist. I don't know how about her dancing ability, but she impressed me. I think the downvote she got was honestly a little weird, but we'll see how she does. I'm excited to see more from her. Riina from High Key was next up, and she missed one note. I was surprised they voted her so low when others skipped it and probably received a good rating. The rest of her performance was super cute and sweet. It also didn't seem to faze her whatsoever. I'm rooting for her to place higher next time because she at least went for it, and that warmed my heart a little. Our next performer was super cutesy. She also stopped singing at several points though. I didn't think there was a huge disparity between the two performances of pop. They were about equal in showing their talents. Riina was just bold enough to try and reach for something and fail, where I think Jihan leaned on that cutesy vibe. She was not by any means bad, but the pressure they were putting on the other contestants there, it was very typical of mnet editing. Wooyeon from wooah was next. She was doing Taeyeon's song in front of Taeyeon. I would be dying. I'd be actively dying. The not singing was too much, and the other girls noticed and reacted. It's a vocally dominated song. Taeyeon is known for her vocals, and she was sitting right there watching. I think she probably saw other girls getting away with dropping notes and thought she probably could too. I think Taeyeon reacted appropriately, and she'll do much better if she's not so nervous. Next up was yeoreum from Cosmic Girls, or wjsn, as you may know them. As soon as I heard Kai's song, my expectations were not high. It's a hard song to carry in this format. I think she really showed off her dancing abilities well, and never let her singing fall to the wayside to do so, all of which I find pretty admirable. She deserved the high placement, in my opinion. Up next was Bora from Cherry Bullet. If I have to see this woman on one more survival show, she's super underrated, just across the board. She had my vote before this performance. I did feel like she was kind of redoing her Girls Planet performance on that stage with Chaeyeon, to be quite honest. I had a little flashback. She can sing circles around most of the women on that stage. I hope this gets her the recognition she deserves, though I hate seeing her fail to win over and over and over. I do root for her every single time though. Next up was Juri from Rocket Punch. I thought the mix was weird, but I also thought she was a lot better than the score she received. She had a really positive attitude to the low score as well and seemed to take it in stride, which I thought was admirable. I don't know if 20 downvotes was really fair for her. Yeonhee from Rocket Punch was next. I was really impressed to see her singing with her whole chest after that dance break. I also didn't notice the broken shoe at all in the performance. She seems like an all-arounder with a lot of stamina. I was surprised to see her downvotes outweigh her upvotes, but it's only slight, I guess. I think she has the ability to show us a lot more. I don't think she'll remain in the middle of the pack for long. As for our next performer, I was scared for her when I realized that she was covering 28 Reasons. It's so hard to sing and dance like Seulgi. She's so amazingly talented. The dancing was good, and I can see why she's the main dancer of her group, but there are very few dancers that can carry vocals like Seulgi. I think it was a super hard song, and she definitely showed her strength in dance, and I'm definitely glad that she tried attempting those notes, but what can you do? Next was Soojin from weekly. I don't really like this song, but I think she definitely achieved and performed it well. To be honest, I don't think Flower gives performers a lot of places to shine, so a solid execution wasn't as show-stopping as others. She also lacked some gimmicks the other girls brought for votes. Mnet was sure to show us her leaderships though beforehand, so you know they're going to put her in that kind of position in the future and include it in the edit. Seoyeon from Triple S was up next. She's cute and young with near no experience. She has been in this industry for 70 days. I did not expect her to do as well as girls with years and years of experience and training. She's cute and very raw. Even if she was the lowest place, she seems to have a great attitude and a desire to do better. She needs to build a little confidence, but she's got the right spirit. She's an underdog, and I want to root for her, which is more than I can say for some of the other contestants. Miru is up next. She used to be in NMB48, which is the Osaka branch of AKB48. She was also in Produce 48. Yes, I just said 48 a lot of times. Mnet really got me with their editing, showing her upvoting all the other girls and just having such a warm, positive attitude towards them all. She's a great singer, and the choreography of that song was just not doing it for her. I don't think it was showing her skills. I think the lack of backup dancers probably didn't help her at all either. Her vocals were stable, and I really liked her. Maybe she doesn't have the best performance, but but maybe it was the best performance in my heart. Yuki from Purple Kiss was next. She's a capable rapper and dancer. I said before, I don't like the rap parts of Purple Kiss songs. She's definitely solidly in the middle of the pack. I think the other girls were right to say that her abilities will be really important in filling out the groove performances later down the line. Sangha from Lightsum was next. Cube loves these mnet competition shows, huh? I see Lightsum as a pretty young, pretty rookie group, and Cube is a pretty big company, so I was super surprised to see anyone from Lightsum here. I think she has an interesting vocal tone, but I was also just messed up lines and dropped words. She had great stage presence though, and a lot of charisma, so I'm excited to see what she does. The next performance, I would have loved to hear her singing more, but with a lot of these girls, it's just next to impossible to tell if the vocal mix is just too high. She had a lot of charisma and stage presence. I think a lot of the girls that were voting were already big fans. Personally, I was never a huge fan of CLC, so she's a rather fresh face to me, but I'm excited to see her singing abilities more. Haeyeon from Laboon has already left the show. I don't really want to go into depth on her performance, other than I think that there were some issues that ultimately led from choices that people made probably for her. I wish we could have seen a redemption arc for her, but I understand. I don't think this performance will come to define her in any way. Chaerin from Cherry Bullet was next. Dancing, not her strength. I think her vocals probably could have also been better, but she could have just been nervous. I feel like it must be a big weight to have your other members be such strong singers and strong competitors. And that's all I thought after watching her performance. Elly from Meki was next. This seems like a pretty difficult song to pull off well. Don't really know why she chose it, but I was still impressed with her vocals despite the issues she had in her performance. I thought it was kind of weird she was lumped in with chaerin. I think mnet is just trying to keep things moving along time-wise. Jooe from Momoland was next. She was kind of breathless during the performance, but her dancing was really, really on point. Considering she put the whole thing together herself, I consider that impressive. She picked a very vocally challenging song and danced quite hard during it. Considering how long it's been since she promoted a single, I think she just needs work on her endurance. Previously, she's been showcased as a rapper, so I think she's just hiding her strongest talent on this one. Then we have hwiseo from hwiseo. I think the choice to have her stand at the mic, show off her vocal ability, then have her dance and perform was just the best choice anyone made throughout. Whoever designed this performance for her really highlighted her singing abilities and unique vocal tone and really showcased that she could handle herself as a dancer as well. K from Lovelyz was after that, and her singing was about on par with Bora's, but in my opinion, she showed much more dancing ability. She was really impressive to me and stood out as a top competitor. Much more talented than the votes reflected. I would say she's definitely my number one pick for the number 2 spot, with Bora at number 1. Anyway, that's all. Thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe if you'd like to see more reviews of Queendom puzzle performances. I'll be posting reviews of the next round of performances as well.